So I picked up this wood serving tray. I think maybe at one time it was from the Dollar General, but I got it at an estate sale, real cheap. And I thought, hey, perfect to make over, but I want to add some molds right here. And the molds I'm going to use are out of the olive crest mold and the Acanthus mold from IOD. And I'm just going to cast these two on the olive crest and this one off of the Acanthus. And you always want to make sure you put some cornstarch down. This is just going to help that casting release from its mold a lot easier. And then I just got some DOS air dry clay. Yes, mine is a gray color. It's called Stone. This was the only thing they had in stock when I went to pick some up, which actually kind of works out pretty good for my project. You'll see why as we move on. But I'm just going to simply press those in there, getting that top as even as possible. And I just like to use like a scraper of some sort. And when you're skimming over the top, kind of shake it side to side. That'll help prevent that casting from coming out prematurely. And then just flip it over, pop it out, repeat the process for the other two. Now with some Titebond Quick and Thick, I have applied my castings right along the side of this tray. Now I'm going to grab some Folk Art Crackle, and I'm just going to apply that crackle all along the sides of the tray and also along the inside of the tray, but not the bottom. Now I'm going to grab the color Apothecary from DIY Paint, and I'm just going to apply that all around where we applied that crackle, going over those castings as well. And of course, when you do this, try not to do more than 2 swipes, because if you do, then it's going to become a gunky appearance, and that's definitely not the look we're going for. And then once I get that paint on there, I do use a heat gun, and I like to go over it to dry it down, and that will also accelerate that cracking. And then you're just going to repeat applying your paint color all along where you applied that crackle. And sorry if my voice sounds a little squeaky and crackly. I am on the mend from not feeling too well for the last couple of weeks, and my voice is still suffering. But we will get through this. I had to get this video out this week since I missed last week. So thank you guys for coming back. Thank you to the ones who watched my last video a couple times to help me. I appreciate that so much. And while you're here, if you're new, my name is Cris, and I love to do upcycles. I love to do makeovers on thrifted items, salvaged items, and just create beautiful home decor. I also sell on a Whatnot platform, and I hope you guys will consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Now I'm going to grab the color Crinoline, and I am going to paint the bottom in the color, covering up all of that striped stuff that's going on there. I probably should have primed this. I would have been able to have used less coats of the crinoline, but because I didn't, I did have to apply about 3 coats to get all those stripes covered up. And I always like to trace around the outer edges first with a flat brush. This will just kind of help you cut along those edges, and then fill it in with a larger brush. Now, after that paint has dried, it's time to add the napkins. I think I got these napkins from the DIYstruggle.com. I'll have her link in my description box if you want to head over there and see if it's something that she has in stock. However, you can use any napkin, any decoupage, anything that you like. This is just what I liked. I thought it went very well with this color paint, but one sheet wasn't large enough to fit over the entire bottom. So what I'm doing here is I have 2 napkins down. One is placed over top of the other one so I can see how much I need of the second napkin, and I'm just marking it so I know where to cut. And I figured putting it along the front edge of the bottom here would be the least noticeable to see that seam that's going to be there, because I am not going to do any kind of distress or anything to it. But when you're putting down your napkins, always make sure to remove your plies. This napkin has 3 plies, so I am removing the bottom 2 plies, and I got lucky and was able to do it in one swoop. And I'm just double checking to make sure my lines are lined up where I had measured. And then I'm just going to cut that strip out. And then I'm just going to trim off any excess. And before I Mod Podge, I'm just going to double check, make sure everything is lining up the way that I intend it to. And to apply this, I am just going to use some clear liquid patina, one of Brandy's fan brushes from the DIYstruggle.com. And because this is so long, I'm just starting at one end, getting that down. And then when I apply that medium to the bottom and lay that paper down, I will go over it with some of the medium to help get those air bubbles out. And then I'm just going to grab that second napkin, peel the plies off, and I'm going to do the dried decoupage iron-on method, whatever they are calling it. I was going to try to decoupage it with my medium, but this piece was just so long. I was going to end up with a mess. I do have a couple coats of decoupage medium already down on the surface, and I will trim off any of the excess tissue. And I just kind of like to push that napkin into the edge there, and it'll make a crease. That way I can fold it over onto that crease, and it's just so easy to see where you need to trim it up. And then I'm just going to line that up the best that I can. And once I got that paper all laid down, I like to use a Teflon mat and place that on top, but you can also use a parchment paper. Just don't use wax paper. And then just use an iron, a mini heat press, whatever you have, and press that napkin, reactivating that decoupage medium you have down, and that'll stick that napkin down perfectly. And then once that's all dried, you can take an X-Acto knife and just kind of go around the edges to trim that up. And that'll give it a nice, seamless appearance. And then I will go ahead and seal my piece with some clear liquid patina. And I apply 2 to 3 coats because I want this bottom to be very protected. And then I'm also going to go around everywhere that I painted. Now I've got these pieces that I had picked up from Hobby Lobby. I think they come like 3 to a pack maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, I've got 4 of them here. And I'm just going to trim the little bottom off here. I kind of have to scrape away to make it perfectly even. And then I will just rub those bottoms along some low grit sandpaper just to smooth it out. Set it on something flat, make sure they stand up and don't wobble all over the place. And then I'm going to grab some walnut gel stain, and then I'm just going to stain all 4 of these up. I kind of go through them all with a good coat and then go back and wipe off the excess. I want these kind of on the darker side. And I'm going to use Titebond Quick and Thick to adhere them. Nice, good, smooth layer. Placing those down and letting that sit and dry. And with some clear wax, I'm going to go over my surface because I was not feeling too well when I first started this project, and I couldn't remember that I did apply the decoupage medium. But I've got this, I can't remember the name of it. It's a gray color, kind of waxy gel type. I don't know. I'll put it in the description box. But anyway, I didn't like the way it went on. I wanted to kind of darken up those castings a little bit more. So I then grabbed some light brown sugar and went over it, and I still wasn't liking it. And then I decided, you know what, I've got this elephant gray color and I've got some clear wax, so let's mix them up and make our own gray wax. And then I'm just going to go over all those castings, just kind of blotting it in there. I waited for quite a while before I wiped this away because I really wanted that gray to stand out a little bit more on these castings. And then once I do this and it sits and dried, this piece is done. For my next project, I've got this long cutting board shape. I got it from the woodpile section at Hobby Lobby. And then I've got some salvaged door pieces. We've got this doorknob and this little mounting plate. First thing I'm going to do is grab some brown wax, or you can use a stain, and I'm going to stain my wood piece. And then I'm just going to use a varnish and a couple of coats and go over my metal pieces just to keep those metal pieces from breaking down anymore. And I was originally going to paint this, so if you plan on painting your pieces, this will also help keep those pieces from bleeding onto your paint. Now I am going to use some JB Weld. This is the first time I've ever used this, but my friend Sammy at Unicorn Dust Designs and Amber at Southbred Vintage both swear by this stuff, so I'm going to give it a shot for the first time. And I just want to adhere this doorknob into that little circular hole on the mounting plate, and I just want to make sure I get that adhesive all around the areas that are going to be touching one another. So I just kind of really coat it. I'm just going to push that in there. I wipe away anything that might have dripped down, and I'm going to set it aside, and I let this dry overnight. Now I'm going to do something a little weird here. I've got both the Folk Art Crackle Medium and some Vaseline, and I'm going to do both. I know, strange, but I had an idea in my head, and I thought, I'm just going to try this. So I'm going to start with the Vaseline, grab a little paintbrush, and just apply that Vaseline in areas that I think I want more cracking. And then we're going to grab that Folk Art Medium and apply that all over. And I do apply this to front, sides, and the back. And once that's dried down, I'm going to grab the color Vintage Linen. And I just like to use a chippy brush when I'm doing this. And I'm just going to swipe it on. One coat's best, but I do find that you can get away with 2 swipes. And once I get the first section done, I'm just going to use my heat gun to dry that down. And once that's dried down, I'm just going to grab my little scraper here, and I'm just going to kind of scrape along the surface, not digging in, just getting it kind of, as flat as possible, probably a 20-degree angle, and just going along there. And that's going to remove where I applied that Vaseline. And this worked out very well, I think so anyway. And then once I get this side done, I'm just going to continue along the edges and the back side and do the same thing. After I got all those sides complete, it's all dried down. I had this crazy idea. I was going to use some of this dark liquid patina and go over it to kind of darken it up a little bit. I did not like this, so this became my backside of my project. After I put that on there, I tried to use some wax, thinking maybe the wax will remove it. It didn't do so. So I just went back over it with some white paint with my chippy brush, just kind of brushing it over. And thank goodness I didn't lose a lot of my crackling. So you can most definitely skip this step. And I did go ahead and clear the whole thing with some clear wax, but I'm going to put my little hardware down onto my board, and I have it kind of towards the bottom, and I just use some 3/4 inch wood screws. And this little screwdriver, electric screwdriver I got, works great for these kind of projects. It's lightweight. And then I did off camera, I made a bow. I don't like to share my bow making with you guys because a lot of times I have to go and watch a tutorial on how to make these bows. I think the only one I've got mastered is my shaggy bow. And then the one I made in the last Easter video that I kind of did on my own came out good, but I can't even remember how I made it. So I did this off camera. Just going to fluff it up. I'm going to put it there on the top using some hot glue. And then I just had this little old key. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to hang this off of here. Just give it a little extra detail. And then I've got one of these cards. My friend Tracy at Charming Appeal, you can find her here on YouTube and Whatnot. She sells these on Whatnot. She also gives a lot of them away through giveaways, but I'm just going to distress along the edges with some Tim Holtz distressing ink, and with some hot glue I'm going to tuck it right in here, and then this project will be complete. And for our final project, I've got this wood basket. I had it in a couple of shows to try to sell. I didn't get any interest on it, and then I just snatched it out of there because I was like, I'm going to make this over. I'm going to grab the color Plaster from Waverly because I still have a whole jar. It was a little dried up. I had to add a bunch of water to it, but I absolutely love this color. I just don't like the smell of these paints. I guess that's one of the main reasons I've started using the DIY paints, is because they don't have a smell. But anyway, I want to use this, and I do like this color. This color is really close to vintage linen, and it's also even closer to farmhouse linen from Paint Couture. But once I get my basket completely covered in that color, I'm just going to take an 80 grit sandpaper and go along all the areas that I want to distress. I do not want this overly distressed, just a little bit to show signs of aging. I put about 2 coats of paint on there, distressed it, and now I'm going to apply clear liquid patina and seal in all of that chalk paint all around. Now I'm going to grab some transfers. I end up using the Botanical Roses, Rose Botanicals from IOD. The other one set in here is the Botanical Paradise from Redesigned by Prima. I'll have all of those in my description box to help you remember. But I decided to tackle something I'd never tackled, and that is by putting transfers onto a basket. So I decided I'm just going to go ahead and trim out what I want and just apply my transfer down. I'm going to start by pressing it down in one section, rubbing it on, and then working my way down. Now, I got to tell you, this was tricky, but you just want to, like you see here, you just want to just work your way down, which is how I did it. But we're going to move forward here. Okay, so I don't think it came out that great. So on the other side, I'm trying something a little different. And I think it's going to come out better if I just cut what I want out and then piece it together like that, which is what I've been doing. And I think it's starting to look a little better, like right here. And then say I want it right there. So just trim it down. Like this one. And I think that'll work better so it doesn't, like this side just looks, it's got a lot of the cracks in it. And I'm not a big fan of that. And I really don't want to do any kind of dark wax or anything. So I'm going to try and at least salvage one side. So when I put this up on Whatnot, I can say, well, this is the side that you don't want to have shown, but at least the back looks like it's done, and you can have the one side shown. So, yeah, but hopefully that saves you a little aggravation. If you have any tips, please put that in the bottom in the comment section, because like I said, this is the first time I've tried it. This way I think definitely works better than trying to put the whole image on. And this is how the second side turned out, and I really like it. I think it came out very nice. And to protect the transfers, I am just going to go over it with a clear wax. Now I wanted to add just a little something, so I've got some of this lace ribbon I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I only buy ribbon and stuff like that from Hobby Lobby when they're on sale, but I like this lace. It's very nice, and it's a cotton lace. But I just want to tie a little bow on the top. And then I'm going to take some of that ribbon, and using some hot glue, I'm just going to wrap it around, and then this project will be done. And please let me know which of these 3 was your favorite in the comment section down below. I always like to know, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.